Hello. The Your Vision to Success podcast is intended for personal growth and storytelling. If you are experiencing a mental health emergency, please dial 988.
Right. Well, Christine, I'm here.
We're back.
Sorry, I'm late. What are we going to be talking about today?
Culture.
Culture.
Yes.
Oh, I love talking about culture because it's one thing that a lot of business owners and a lot of solopreneurs think they don't need to worry about.
Oh gosh, that's scary.
I know, but it's true. Like what? It's only me. What do I need to have this culture? I'm the culture. So
That could be a problem.
exactly. So Christine, what about culture? Why is culture such an important part of the business owner and being a business owner?
I think culture is important because toxicity can breed very, very easily in a business. And if you don't get it checked and hold people accountable for their behavior, it can get out of control really fast.
I guess I should say that every business has a culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's being aware of what your culture is, right?
Yeah, and culture shifts and grows over time. So as you add people, as you subtract people, however that looks with your business, as the ingredients, so to speak, of your culture change, it shifts the dynamics in your culture.
Oh, that's a good point. So what are some, you want to talk about some dynamic shifts in culture?
We could. I mean,
Or what do you want to talk about I can go any way, sister. I love this topic.
I think, with culture, it's really important that business owners understand or are aware, again, I'm talking about awareness again,
Right. Yep.
but are aware of the norms as far as behaviors
Okay.
that are being, I want to say, not promoted, but behaviors that are being normalized within the culture of their business. So if, for instance, if I call you out on something in front of a group of people, and that's the norm in your culture,
Okay.
how does that make you feel?
Oh, geez. I see what you're saying.
So if I'm the business owner and I'm calling somebody out in front of a team, then everybody else is going to think
that's the norm.
That's the norm. That's what's okay. That's the behavior that's okay.
Oh, geez. So that could trickle down.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that. Everybody's worked at different places and experienced different cultures.
Right.
And I think you can really, everybody has that one boss that they really enjoyed or that one job they really enjoyed that they really probably didn't want to leave, but they graduated from that job or that employer. To me, that's the goal. As like you want a culture that promotes growth, even if that means growth outside of the business. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I agree with you. I feel the more your employees have a learning ambition or a learning tendency towards bettering themselves.
Yeah, that's it.
What they're going to do is they're going to better themselves within your organization as much as they can.
What we're saying is it's going to be better for your business even if that means that employee is leaving.
What they take with them, I would hope, would be the positive pieces and the positive experiences they've had with your business.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And that resonates in relationship to being able to retain, so retention, employee retention, being able to retain the employees that you have.
I love, 100%. And it's not just referrals of business, but other employees too.
Right.
Like those employees that you've developed that culture to where they're growing, they have that growth, they go move on.
They'll take the positive aspects and the leadership that you show in your business to their next job.
Yep.
So they'll ultimately know if they're in a better position or if they should have ultimately stayed
Yeah.
in the culture they were in, the positive culture they were in. Ultimately, if you're in a culture that's supportive,
Yep.
that wants you to continuously learn and that holds people accountable, and you have constructive conflict, it's going to be more of a, I want to say a healthier. Yeah, I almost said more healthier altogether, but that's not really good English. So, more healthier. No, not really. But in any case, my point is that they'll see the leadership that you're exhibiting, and they'll hopefully continue that leadership and internalize it as a way to lead themselves because they had a good experience with you as a leader.
Oh, I love that. I do. And what kind of compliment that is to you. Like that to me is a win.
Right.
As a leader.
Right. And I feel like there's a difference. You know, you can be a boss or you can be a leader, and there's a difference between the two. And if you create a culture in your organization where you're leading with integrity and you're leading with the health of the business in mind, as well as the health of the employees in mind, the employees see that.
And then your customers or clients see that too.
Right, because it's a trickle-down effect.
Sure. Oh,
like
yeah.
if you have employees happy, you're going to ultimately have happy clients because you're taking care of your employees who are taking care of your clients.
Do you see that culture is becoming much more of a focus now because of the newer generations work in the workforce now? It seems to me, this is just me being back into the work, like working my 9 to 5 now. I've noticed that culture is much more of a focus than it was 20 years ago, where it was iron fist.
Right.
You know, like it was like, do this, do that, sell, sell, sell.
Yeah. I feel like there is a shift, but I also feel like it's creating more conflict between the generations because that ultimately, the older generations, in my experience at least, and just being someone, I'm a Gen Xer, so
Yeah.
being someone raised by a boomer
Yep.
is that this is how you show up, this is your work ethic, and
Take it or leave it.
right. You have to be there. You have to show up on time. You have to come back from your break on time. Like the structure is there for a reason, and you're responsible to make sure that you support the structure, you know, and with the newer generations, I feel like it's more about the fulfillment of the work. And it's a shift, you know.
On that note, I know what you mean. There's good and bad to both of that, though.
Right, absolutely.
So you got to find that. That's hard to find that balance.
Right, and I think the biggest part of it is transparent communication. So if you have trust with your employees and you're leading in a transparent manner and they see where you're going, if they know your why.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's another whole thing, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that's, I feel like, more geared towards the younger generations of the fulfillment piece, because if they know your why and their why aligns with yours, they're going to be much happier and much more productive, I feel like, than if they're out of alignment with your why.
I love that. And then you also need structure because you also need that, especially if, and by the way, this goes for the solopreneur too, by the way. You need
absolutely.
structure.
Yeah.
Like, and so you got to find that. That's why you got to hire Christine, because if a person like me, if I didn't have Angie as my business partner, I'd be effed in a big way because I don't have that structure. I have the other stuff. I like that stuff, but the other stuff, my point is, having that structure, having that that I don't want to
Approach,
say having that
accountability.
accountability.
Yeah, accountability is huge.
That's it is.
It is. And you need accountability no matter what your culture is.
Right.
Because if you're not holding individuals accountable to be in alignment, your culture is going to suffer.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the good and the bad in both.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about reaming somebody out. I don't feel like that's a real constructive way of having a dialogue with your employee.
But can
There's
I
a
be
power dynamic.
Yeah, but can I say this though? Like,
I guess it depends on what trades if you're in the trades or if you're in the
so that's my
like
point.
blue collar versus white collar, that kind of thing.
I mean, and
But people still have feelings.
they do for sure, absolutely.
But if it's a safety thing, then I might be okay with reaming out.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm not trying to. This is not a shot at the younger generation. This is not. But a lot of them feel like the feeling is all that matters. It's how I feel. And maybe we were that way too at a younger age.
I don't know. I don't think we were allowed to be that way.
Yeah. That's what work like took out of us, was that. Like if you went somewhere and it was me, and I feel this, I feel that, it's like, well, okay, well, nobody cares about that. I'm sorry, but nobody cares. You get to work.
Well, and another thing about feelings is that they're temporary. So just because you have a feeling doesn't mean it needs to master your actions of what you do.
So how can a good culture accept that people have feelings? Like, yes, acknowledge it. I acknowledge you have feelings. However, we also have a job to do.
Right. You have a business to run.
So how do you do that?
So I've been in all different roles. So I've done the manufacturing, like blue collar kind of work, and I've also done president and CEO of a nonprofit. So going from seeing the difference in the work environment.
That's a big dynamic.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, big difference.
And the feelings conversation is different if you're working on a manufacturing floor than if you're working in behavioral health.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have the same conversation. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen.
Could you imagine? Saying you need a mental health day at freaking?
No, not in a manufacturing environment.
Sorry, guys.
Well, even in behavioral health, I want to acknowledge this because even in behavioral health on the floor in the field is different than when you're working in the office.
Oh.
So depending on your supervisor, you might have the ability to have a mental health day.
Man.
And you might not. Even if you're in the behavioral health field.
Wow.
So it's interesting, not interesting in a good way, but
it's reality.
The disparity of the access to that mental health day is huge, So that's a whole nother.
That is. But we're still on culture because
we're on culture,
that's because I'm telling you, I didn't even realize how important culture in business was until we were like 4 or 5 years in. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I had no idea what kind of culture we were developing.
And you have to be intentional about it.
That's the other thing. Yep. I was just going to go there. What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by it is that your awareness has to be there and you have to be intentional about what you allow and what you don't allow. So the accountability piece is kind of woven within that statement.
So I guess my question is being intentional. What does that look like? I mean, I'm sure it goes back to the foundation, having the good foundation, right?
Yeah. There's a couple of things, because if you are focused on it yourself and Some people are good with focusing on it, and some people don't want to deal with it. So if you're a person who doesn't want to deal with it, you ultimately should have a complementary skill set somewhere in your executive team or somewhere in operations or in a position where people can be held accountable, where that person is ultimately responsible for your culture.
I want to talk when it comes to culture. I want to talk more about the hiring. It's a big, big deal. So I want to talk about culture as it pertains to hiring, because there are so many people who are struggling finding reliable help in their eyes, what they consider reliable help. That's another thing. But keeping it.
Yeah. The retention part.
Retaining.
Yeah. And I have to say, if I'm not growing and learning, I get frustrated in relationship to retention. I think knowing what your employee wants, some people don't want the opportunity. Some people want to be in their role. That's what they were hired to do. That's what they want to come to work. They want to collect their paycheck and they want to go back home, and that's the end of the story.
Yep.
So knowing your employee and having a conversation with your employee once they're on board, it's important to know it after the hiring, because you're more inclined to retain that employee if you know what creates fulfillment for them.
Sure.
If you can have dialogue with them, or their direct supervisor can have dialogue with them about what they want from their future or what they don't want from their future, that is important, because having that relationship, building that trust, building that rapport, so on and so forth, will create a more solid foundation.
Amen. And that's got to be part of the culture that you're building. That's why you're talking about it's got to be intentional.
Right. And if you're hiring, in relationship to hiring, I mean, I've worked in human resources for a long time. So I haven't necessarily always been in the hiring role. I think one thing is intuition. So if you own a business, listen to your intuition.
Yeah.
It might be wrong sometimes, but the more you work with that intuition in relationship to people, the better honed in you'll be. If you don't practice, you're not going to get better at it.
That's a good point. I never thought of it like that. Yeah. Because sometimes your gut is right. You know what I mean?
Right. And if you're not good at it and you don't want to get good at it, but you have a trusted advisor or a trusted person that is good at it, then that's impacts your decisions.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, I totally get it. And when it comes to the culture aspect of it, that's where your culture started with your gut, right? Because that's who you are. It's your intuition.
Right.
That's how you started your business. Is I feel there's a need for X that I can fill. There's a missing piece that I can fill in this business.
Right.
And that's why I started it. You're using your gut.
Right. Or even if it's a business that you've bought or that you've continued.
True. Oh, good point.
You put your mark on it to say, this is how I want my business to look.
Yeah.
This is how I want my culture to feel.
And my gut tells me, my intuition tells me that buying this company will help, fulfill that.
Right. So you're going to be wrong sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But other times you'll be dead on right.
Yeah. I love that. Boy, I could talk about culture forever, but we don't have that luxury. One final thought about culture.
Culture eats strategy for breakfast.
What did you say?
Culture eats strategy for breakfast. I think it's Peter Drucker.
What does that mean?
Oh, well, what it means is that it's your culture will ultimately surpass any strategy you can put into place.
Damn, next time start with that. That was awesome. Poor Christine. She's like, what do I do in here? Oh, is this part of my culture?
I think maybe I should look up, maybe I should Google who actually said that, and if it wasn't Drucker, I don't know. I think it was Drucker.
Yeah, look it up.
Let's see what it says. Oh, there's even a Google for who said it. Peter Drucker. Yeah, I was right.
There you go.
Oh, and now it says, there's an article that says Peter Drucker never said culture eats strategy for breakfast. Evidence suggests it was either Steve Jobs or longtime GE CEO Jack Welch.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Yeah, so somebody said it.
Yeah, that's what I gotta say.
It's a quote.
Well, now you said it. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a great ending. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. I love that. That's a great way to end this. All right, Christine. So how can people want to work on their culture? I want you to tell them what's the first thing they should do.
First thing they should do is check out my website, www.vision2success.com.
Okay.
And I have a contact me, and it has a link to my Calendly, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Free consultation.
And should they put like you want to talk about culture or like what should they say or does it matter?
Absolutely. They can contact me for a free consultation and we'll go through what they want to do, if they want to shift their culture, if they want to shift their strategic plan, that kind of thing. Just how they want to approach it. We'll go through that information.
Cool. And you have social medias?
Yes. Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Christine-Conan-MBA on LinkedIn. So all the things.
Cool. Well, thanks, Christine.
You're welcome. The Your Vision to Success podcast is intended for personal growth and storytelling. If you are experiencing a mental health emergency, please dial 988.